Okay.
Hello, and welcome to Cheers. That's One Woman's Opinion podcast. I am your host, Carolyn Mills, and today we have a special guest, Miss Bonnie Bartlett. She's been in she has over 130 acting credits, according to IMDb, including she's been on Golden Girls, St. Elsewhere, Boy Meets World, Little House on the Prairie. She's also done theater, and she also wrote a book called Middle of the Rainbow: How a Wife, Mother, and Daughter Managed to Find Herself and Win 2 Emmys. Welcome, Miss Bartlett.
Thank you. Good to be here.
All right, so we'll start. Let me let the listeners know. Mr. William Daniels was going to be here, but was not able to make it. But Miss Bartlett says she knows the answers to his questions as well. So I have questions for them separately and then together. But we're going to
Yes,
start with her
I can
question.
help you with that.
Perfect. So can you talk about playing Barbara Thorndike on Golden Girls? A lot of people have asked about that.
Is it better for me to look this way or this way?
Either way is fine.
Either way is fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, they sent me a script and I thought it was very nice script. It was about a kind of a nasty lady with a smile on her face. And so had known, I was a little nervous because those ladies were all so very funny. They just were masters at the comedy. So I was a little nervous about it, but I had known B in New York. So B and I were already friends. And so that helped a lot because she was wonderful. And, uh, and all of them were, and it was just a very good experience. The director was very laid back. He didn't jump in and tell you what to do, Terry. And it worked out. But at the beginning, I was very nervous because I was not a funny lady, particularly, and I had no idea that the script would be so powerful. I really didn't. I was very surprised. It didn't seem that bad to me, and I didn't seem it. But the fans, the audience, especially later on, they really picked up on it. On They did not like this lady putting down their friends. They're very good friends. And then, of course, the anti-Semitic part was very powerful, and I didn't realize the whole show would be that powerful, that people would respond so strongly to this in a negative way to this very nasty lady.
I think it's one of the most popular episodes on Golden Girls too.
It definitely is, I know, and it's gotten more so, more and more popular. It's interesting. It's interesting. You don't know why. It was just a very strong personal thing for the fans. Very serious, very personal. They did not like this lady, and they spotted her. They knew her. So that was wonderful. That's a compliment to me, I guess.
Yeah, it was a very good episode. I have the
Yeah,
series on DVD. Every time that episode comes out, I'm like, she's the bad lady,
right. With a smile on her face.
which makes it even worse when you're happy about being bad.
Yeah,
It's like
yes,
scary.
yes. It's very smug. I don't like them. I don't, and they don't either. People don't like her. So they make me the bad person.
What was it like working with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger in Twins?
Oh, that was a good experience. I mean, I have to say, I've been very lucky. So that almost all the things I've done were under very, very good circumstances with very, very good people. Uh, Danny, I had never seen Schwarzenegger. I didn't know anything about him when I went into it. I just saw this man with the big muscles in a short shirt, and I didn't know who he was. And I wasn't thrilled with the script or anything, but I have to say that it turned out to be a wonderful movie, and I enjoyed it when I saw it. And um, Danny, I knew, and he kind of helped Schwarzenegger. You know, he helped him all along the way. And Schwarzenegger worked Danny out. He worked him out in the morning, early morning. So they kind of paired off the two of them. Uh, it was a wonderful. He was a wonderful director, Ivan Reitman, and he worked very closely with me to help me make my part. If I ever had a suggestion, to make my part more believable or whatever it was, he always followed it, and it was a collaborative job. That was a very collaborative job, and I enjoyed it, and I think it turned out very well for everybody.
And they're not identical twins, right?
Well,
So,
then you just have to accept it. You see,
yeah.
if you believe it, the audience will believe it. If you believe it,
Oh, yeah.
then they say, "Oh, okay." Then they believe it.
Well, suspension of disbelief. It's great. So another fan wanted to know about your thoughts on your guest appearances on Home Improvement.
Well, there again, I went into a comedy, a brilliant comedy, with two brilliant comedy actors, and I just followed along with them, and I was again very nervous because it was comedy, and I never think of myself as very, and I'm not really a funny person. I'm not a quirky, but that doesn't matter. You still do it, and one of the things that happened with uh, what was his name?
Tim Allen?
Tim. Tim at one point said to me during they had cast, they had looked for a long time. He didn't want to choose anybody to play his mother for a long time. And so, he chose me. I don't know why, but something about me must have triggered him. So anyway, we're doing the show at one point, and he says, do this, go there, tell them that, do that. I said, I'm not going to do that. That's shtick. He said, just do it. And so I did it, and I got huge laughs. And he said, now, wasn't that fun? It was, of course. But because, these people who are very funny, they're very brilliant. They're very brilliant, and they know exactly what to do. And he just told me what to do, and it worked. But it was him, not me. But I loved being on the show. Both he and the gal that played them, his wife, they were wonderful, wonderful to me. And I finally kind of got the hang of it. I got the hang of just where to be in the reality, so that it was real but funny.
It's going to sound really weird because they're like my age, but how are the kids? Because they're not kids anymore.
They were fine. I didn't have a lot to do with the kids.
Okay.
It was mostly Tim and his wife. I didn't have that much to do with the kids. Yeah, they're all grown or in trouble or something, aren't they? Kids usually end up in trouble, don't they? Most of them. The Boy Meets World kids haven't, and that's been wonderful. They have not ended up in trouble. They've gone on to a good career. And that's wonderful. Yeah.
Speaking of Boy Meets World, in Boy Meets World, you played the dean at Pembroke. And did you,
Yes.
and you just answered the kids, but what was it like being on the show itself?
Well, Michael Jacobs called me, and it was, I think, their 6th or 7th season. I'm not sure which. And he just said, would you come on and be Bill's wife? We'll have you be Bill's wife. And I said, oh, sure. So, made a contract. I came in. It was the last season. I came in for about 5 shows, I think. And I liked them. I particularly liked the show where I liked all of them. I enjoyed all of them. Of course, I got to play with Bill. And I liked all those kids. I knew them all. I knew Betsy and Rusty. We had dinner with them almost every time the show was on. So I was very familiar with everything. And I particularly liked the show where I put down the other teacher. It
Oh, Fred
was,
Savage.
yeah, Fred. That show is really good where I like that. I like that show to put him in his place. Yeah. Good show. Good show.
I the reason I started doing this podcast is because I listened to the Pod Meets World one. I was like, that sounds like fun. I want to do a rewatch podcast. And Cheers is my favorite show, so that's how I started doing this. What did you think of Michael Landon and your work on Little House on the Prairie?
Well, again, it was a very joyful experience. I knew exactly what I was doing there, and it was like falling off a log working with Michael and
No, thanks.
what's his name? Who am I thinking of? Is Isaiah,
Oh,
Isaiah,
okay.
the guy I married on the show. I worked with Pat Neal. I hadn't seen Pat Neal in years. I knew her in New York, and she had had a very tragic life, and it was just a joy to be there with her and work with her, and all the cast. Uh, Catherine, had known her from New York. She'd been on my soap opera. We'd worked 2 or 3 times together on the stage, and so it was fun. Although I didn't have much to do with her in the show. I have a picture of her here. I loved her. I loved her. She was a wonderful, wonderful lady, and a good villain, but a wonderful lady. So, and Michael was very, very good to me. He respected me a lot. He would take my suggestions, and he wasn't too good at that, but he did. He would take my, that's the best, when the director allows you to bring in more than just the script, when he allows you to go further than the script, or even change the blocking, change the way you think it should be done. I mean, that is great when you collaborate like that. On a TV series, not on a film, usually not on a film, but in a TV series, it's important because you really are as much in charge as the director, really. And Michael was cheap. Michael didn't pay a lot. And we ended up separating because of that, because he wanted me to come in. And when Isaiah left the show, he wanted me to come in and finish up something. I said, sure. I said, just give me a week's salary. It wasn't that much. And he said, no, just one day. I said, no, I won't come in to do one day. So I didn't do it. They put somebody in the background to do it. But that was a dumb move on his part. Because by the time Isaiah came back to the show, I was already on another show. So, but I loved working with him. I did. And all of them.
I've actually heard other people say the same thing, that he was pretty cheap.
Yeah.
But everybody talks pretty good about him.
Not with his crew, but with his actors. Yeah. He was very generous with his crew. Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting. Very generous with the crew. They were all well taken care of. But actors, he just didn't want to pay them.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So now I'm going to go to the questions we had for Mr. William Daniels before I ask the combined ones.
Okay.
So a fan heard that he did not want anybody to know that he voiced Kit in Knight Rider because he thought he would be less respected as an actor, and they want to know if it's true or just a rumor.
It's true. It's absolutely true. He was doing St. Elsewhere, and he didn't want to in any way hurt the gravitas of that show. And so he thought, well, if I just don't take credit for it, nobody will know, and I can do the voice and I can do that, and nobody will know, and they just don't have to give me credit. Just pay me. And so the next day after it was went on the air, a neighbor came by and said, hey, Bill, I caught your show. last night. So much for being discreet. Uh, from then on, everybody knew it was Bill, and it was all for naught that he didn't take the credit. But he didn't want to because he really adored St. Elsewhere, and he didn't want to in any way. But it didn't bother. It was great. It turned out to be great, and people love it. And he's still signing cars and things like that.
Yeah, his voice is rather recognizable.
Yeah, and he's amazing. His fan base is amazing. It really is. He is so iconic with all of the parts that he's done. They're all very strong and very good and well remembered. So he has a lot of fans.
And another fan asked about his thoughts about appearing on the Bob Newhart show and one off as Mr. Vickers.
That was one of the joys of his life. He adored that show. He adored Bob Newhart. The two of them could hardly get through rehearsals. They couldn't get through it. They were laughing at each other so much that they couldn't. Bill, with his gun, his house gun or something. I mean, I don't know what it was, but Bob Newhart just broke up every time Bill spoke. He just knocked him out. And Bill adored Bob Newhart, he loved his humor. He loved it. So very happy one-off show, but Bill, it's one of his favorites, one that he will always remember.
So, I know he's been in show business since he was a child. I think he said like 5, I heard on another podcast. And I was wondering if he ever thought about doing anything else, and if so, what?
I think he would love to have done something else, but he didn't know what to do. I can remember when he wasn't working. I said, Bill, why don't you do something you love? Why don't you go on some of those digs? You always talk about going on a dig, and searching, searching all anthropology and all that stuff. Why don't you study some of that and do it? Because you love it so. No, he didn't. He just didn't feel that he knew how to do anything except be an actor, be a performer, be a performer. That's all he felt he knew how to do, that he was good at it. He finally realized he was good at it. Took him a long time to realize
Very good.
that. Yeah.
And he started in vaudeville, right?
What?
He was in vaudeville too, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
when he was younger. That was vaudeville, I thought.
Yeah. Oh, you mean early vaudeville? What did you say?
No, I said he was in vaudeville, correct?
Oh, God, yes.
I thought so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very
well,
much
here,
so. He was the person you went to when you wanted to know something about the theater, or when you wanted to know something. He just had an amazing script, looking at a script, seeing where the problems were. He was great. He was Bill. Actually, theater is the thing that really turns him on. And he says he's a terrible audience because when he goes to the theater, all he's doing is correcting things in his mind. Oh, that should have been there. That should, oh God, do it. Why didn't he do it? So he's not a good audience like I am. I just fall in love with the show and I fall in love with all the actors. No, he doesn't. He's just constantly criticizing in his mind, So it's not a pleasure.
I'm laughing because I did theater in high school and then in college.
Yeah.
I've never been on the stage because I'm too scared, but I've done the backstage stuff. I went to see my nieces in a show recently. After the show, I said, "You need to tell your director they need to move the typewriter because they're upstaging the actress in front of him."
Right.
I was like, so I totally get that.
Yeah.
I find this stuff wrong.
Yeah. You're looking at everything that didn't go right. Huh. I don't do that. I just fall in love with the show.
See, TVs and movies, I can do that, but in theater, I get a little too. Depends on how good the show is, too. Like, it's like more. If the show's really good, I then will fall in love and forget to pay attention to mistakes. But yeah. So that was actually the next question of the theater, TV, and movies. What does he like best? And you said already theater. So
Theater is what really. He just loved being on the stage and in a good part, and like for instance 1776, and being he said, you're kind of in control of the audience. And they come in and they're a little noisy and everything. And he says, then you get them. You can really get them. He really interacted with the audience, not personally, but he felt them. He knew. Bill always knew where the laughs were, and he knew how to. He did all of that. He was in the audience as well as on the stage, and he loved that. He loved that interconnection. I never liked that. I just wanted to be by myself doing what I'm doing. I don't want to know what they're doing out there. I never was good at that, but he knew everything that was going on.
So I grew up with Boy Meets World. I'm 45 now, and I want to know what he likes best about playing Mr. Feeney.
I think it was because in the beginning he told Michael, he said, I just don't want this to be a silly guy. I want this to be a good teacher. He said, I respect teachers and I think they're underpaid. And I don't want him to be a silly, because he said Feeney is a funny name and I don't want to go that way. So Michael always made him actually, Michael wrote all the good stuff that Bill then put out. And Bill has a way, I don't know where, it's a kind of a silent thing where when he says something, you listen, you just do. And part of it is the voice, part of it is just Bill. And so he, with Mr. Feeney, that was the part that he liked the most. And the other part, of course, was he loved all those kids. It was just a miracle group put together. Danielle and Ryder, Will, Sean, he loved them all. He really did. And he got to it. It didn't happen right away. At first they were young and silly and playing games on set and, silly, which he doesn't particularly like. He's too nervous. He's too nervous to be silly. And the kids weren't nervous, but he's nervous. Yeah.
Funny, actually,
as an actor. I'm sorry.
Sorry. On their podcast, the Pod Meets World one, funny when I say kids because they're also my age. But they talk about how they were like kind of intimidated by him when they first met him. That they have like guest stars who are adults, and all the adults are like, yeah, we're all intimidated too, because like you said, it's that voice. He commands respect.
Yes, exactly. He does. It's interesting because it isn't something that he does deliberately. It's just he goes in and he does his job. It's but he does. He commands respect. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. He does all these cameos for people. There's cameos, and they wanted him to say something to them. They call in. I don't know how they do it. It's a cameo thing. Anyway, and they every day we get them more and more, and people just want him to say something to them.
Right. Yeah, he's got a great voice.
Yeah.
Another fan asked what it was like filming The Graduate.
Well, that's a whole good story. He loved it because of two things: Mike Nichols and the guy who wrote it, who took a small part, is a very funny man, one of the funniest men ever in the business, I think. And he used to, he had originally, they had asked him to play another part. And that's the part that the writer came in and did, the writer of the script. And so he said, no, I don't want to play that part. I don't want to play that part. That's too small. Why are you asking me to do that? And Mike said, well, it's over the phone. Mike says, well, if you don't want to play that part, would you play one of the fathers? And Bill said, oh, well, no, that's another matter. Maybe yes, I'll do that. So he said, yeah, I'll play one of the fathers. And so he played his father. And it was a beautiful thing that happened. I mean, they were just so good together, I thought. Bill, Dustin was so good, and Bill was so good being his asshole father, you know, and he loved working with Mike Nichols. He so respected him as a director and as a friend. And he was very happy doing that show. And again, people, Mr. Braddock, they all know Mr. Braddock.
Yep.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, we did that one. Okay. So I have the questions that go for both of you.
Yeah.
And I have a question that's on the list, if that's okay. It made me think of when you said that about The Graduate.
Yeah.
When he was in an episode of Boy Meets World, there's a reference to that. And there's where he makes reference to The Graduate. I forgot what he says, but and there's other times like they reference like the time change. And my question is because people are debating this on one of the group things. Um, I was taught in theater, breaking the fourth wall is when you directly talk to the audience, but people are saying it's also when you make reference to your show. I thought that was like a meta thing. So I wanted to ask you, is it breaking the fourth wall when you reference the show that you're on or another show that the actor's done?
Don't know. I don't know the answer to that. How can
Okay.
you? I don't
I just wanted
really.
to see if you knew. Because there's like a debate. I was like,
I
I've
mean,
always learned breaking
there
fourth
are no
walls.
rules. There
Yeah.
are no rules.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
say breaking the wall, everything. I would call that the way I like to work, where I don't break that. I put a wall up, and I like that. I don't like breaking the wall. But as I had explained before, does that all the time without breaking it. He references it. And I don't know what you mean. Do you mean that the kids are
Like,
breaking the
no, like there's in one of the scenes, somebody says they moved our time, and actually at the time, Boy Meets World, the time changed from when it aired. So they were making a reference to the time changing, but it was in character they were saying it. The kid and they're Topanga and Corey are actually babysitting a little kid, and the kid says they moved my. He can't watch his favorite show because they moved the time,
Yeah.
but it's referencing Boy Meets World's time becoming later because I think it was on at like 8:30, moved to 9:30 or something.
I
Somebody,
see what you mean.
yeah,
No, I mean I think that's perfectly fine.
yeah. So
And
somebody was like,
audiences love it, just like audiences love when you make a mistake. They
yeah,
get a big kick out of it. See, that's the thing that Bill never got. I always said to him, Billy, audiences absolutely adore mistakes. He said, not me. He doesn't like it.
I don't think he ever makes mistakes.
Oh
Now he's
yeah.
really good at it.
No, he's screwed up lyrics and made a lot of mistakes. Sure, yes. But when he does it, he's very hard on himself. You don't talk to him. You don't get to touch him because he feels bad. He feels bad to an extraordinary degree.
Yeah. So my next question, you both recently celebrated 74 years of marriage in June, and I
Yeah,
want to know when did you first know that you wanted to spend your lives together?
we never knew that. We've never known that. We've
Are you
never.
starting to suspect it now?
Well, we're stuck. We're 90. He's 98. I'm 96. There's not much place to go, right? Where to go? The only where to go is woohoo. So, uh, no, we've never been a romantic couple. We've just been two people who like to be together, who liked in the beginning, of course, it was very sexual, and we wanted to sleep together. So that's why we were together. But then it goes on and on and on, and it just that's the person you want to live with, and that's we each had our own careers, and then I took time off when we adopted two boys, and I wanted to raise them, so I took time off from being an actress, and then when we came out to California, I and that was at a bad time in our marriage. And came out to California, and Bill sent me to his agent, and I just started working, and I just kept working, and that helped repair. There's always something that helped repair our problems. We've been very lucky that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something always came in and fixed us. Very
74
lucky.
years is amazing.
Yeah, very lucky.
You actually hold the record now in Hollywood. But since
I
most
think
marriages in
so.
Hollywood last about a year, that's but 74 years is impressive.
Yeah, it is impressive. But it just happened. It just happened. We're not trying to break any records. You know what we have? We have an online store for people because people are so interested. People want something from us. So we have an online store. It's BillandBonnieDaniels.com. And people can buy pictures and books and relics and little mementos, things that we have. We sell them. My son is in charge of that, and he
Nice.
just sells them to people because people want them and they can't always get to conventions because we do conventions too.
Right.
We were very much interested in that and getting out to see the fans. We like that connection very much. So that's always available. BillandBonnieDaniels.com. It's good.
BillandBonnieDaniels.com.
Store.
So, and by the way, you do not look 96.
I know.
You're
I
aging
do
very
know
well.
that. I'm aware of that.
You're aging very well. So a fan asked about you're both on St. Elsewhere, and a fan had asked about your time on St. Elsewhere, your favorite episode or favorite moments, and your thoughts on your character.
I loved St. Elsewhere because it was so well written. It was not only was it a hospital show, a doctor show, but they used so much of us as our relationship, the doctor's relationship, his relationship to me. I was not a doctor, I was just a wife. Later on, I became something, I don't know, in the kitchen or something, I'm sure, in the hospital kitchen. It was such a well-written show, and we had such good actors with us. You know, I mean, Denzel was just beginning, and Bill said, oh boy, that he's going to be there for the big screen. He's going to be there for the big screen. And that is exactly what happened. And Christina Pickles, wonderful. Oh, and then that wonderful Ed Flanders, who unfortunately was a terrible alcoholic and eventually killed himself. But what a beautiful actor. What a beautiful actor he was. And sometimes Bill and I would have a scene with him, and we all just loved it. We just loved it. I had worked with Ed 2 or 3 times, played his wife 2 or 3 times. When we started the show, he said, you can't be Bill's wife. You're my wife. And he says, I'm going to put a picture of you on my desk. And I said, well, I got the job. I don't want to be just a picture. This way I got a job. I got to work. But he was a gorgeous actor.
I have not actually seen St. Elsewhere. It's on my list of things I need to see. Somehow I've never seen it.
What?
St. Elsewhere.
Oh, you've got to watch it. It's a
I'm
good
trying to find it, but yeah, I mean, it came out when I was 2, so I just haven't.
It's
Yeah,
out there somewhere. We both got Emmys, 4 Emmys from that show. Bill got 2 Emmys. I got 2 Emmys. Very good show, and I have to applaud the writing. I always do because that's what makes a good performance.
yeah,
That's part of what makes a good performance. You got to have the material. So
definitely.
we did a lot of. We lost a boy on it. It was very sad. It was a very sad scene. We had everything, comedy, everything. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. A joy.
I need to see that. And speaking of the show, what was your thoughts on the Tommy Westphal universe?
Well, I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. Most of us didn't like it because it meant we didn't exist. You know, It was just a figment of an autistic boy's imagination. But so we didn't like it, but I have met so many people who have autistic kids or something, and they love it. So I think, okay, if that meant something to them, and it gives some kind of a boost, then it's worth it. But it took me a while. I have to say, I was very selfish. I didn't want them to say, "Oh, you weren't even there." But then
I'm actually on the spectrum.
you're on the spectrum, yeah.
Yep.
And it meant something to people very much who were on the spectrum or who are. Bill, I think, directed a show about autistic children and taking them into the water and how you had to be with them, but these were severely autistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he got very involved in it, very involved in it. And I changed my mind. Tom Fontaine would love to know that. But if you can do some good, if you can do any good for people, hey, it's worth whatever. It's worth whatever.
It's funny because obviously Cheers being my favorite show, somebody had said to me, they're like, well, that doesn't exist. Like you said about you not existing. They were like, Cheers doesn't exist, and that's why I heard about this Tommy Wessel universe. Because the next question I have coming up, Cheers characters that were on St. Elsewhere, so there's that crossover. So they're like, so Cheers doesn't exist, Frasier doesn't exist. I was like, you can't just wipe out all these TV. So I thought the same thing you just said.
Was it true that they made Cheers? Yeah, that Cheers doesn't exist. What a good show. What a good show. They did a crossover, but I don't think Bill had a lot to do in the crossover. There was a crossover, and I remember when they all came in. I wasn't on the show, and I don't think Bill had much to do with it because people ask him all the time. He said, "Yeah, of course I know all those people," and but we don't actors. It's its own little world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all know each other, and but I don't think he had much to do on the show. Don't remember that show that well.
Yeah, I know, because I haven't seen it, as I said, but I know Rhea Perlman, George Wendt, and John Ratzenberger were all on it. They're the three that were on it.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. And actually on Cheers, when Carla's pregnant, she makes reference that she has to go to St. Elsewhere to have her baby.
Oh, good. That's great.
So it was referenced, yep.
Because they're in the same town.
Yeah. In Boston.
Boston, yeah.
Yep. And what was your favorite thing that you have done?
That is so hard to say because I just love so many things I've done. When I was in college, I did a part of Barbara Allen in Dark of the Moon. I was 18 and I won the acting award, and I just fell in love. I mean, that was a part it just rolled out. It was so easy. She was just a country girl and very bad girl, sexy girl, with a witch boy, and there was rape. I just loved being in that kind of a show. I don't know what you'd call it. People who are a lot smarter than I am would probably call it something like graphic or something like that, but it's very strong, very big. Other things that I've done where I've played a bad alcoholic. I love doing that because I want it was for the group, not Alcoholics Anonymous, but the one that for the people who have to live with an alcoholic. I can't remember the name of the group.
Al-Anon?
Al-Anon. And the fact that I was doing something that was going to, because I came from a lot of alcoholics. My father, my brother, they all died that way. And to show what it's like to have an alcoholic mother. If I could help people that way and get them to Al-Anon and stuff like that, that's really important to me. Then I'm doing something, That means a lot to me. Whereas Bill, for instance, loves to make people laugh. That's his idea. He's always thinking, how can I make him laugh? I guess I'm more serious, more. I have a need to express that part of myself. I have a need to show people what life can be like, good or bad. I have a great need to do that.
Good.
Through acting.
It's good. It's good to have both kinds. I mean, you need people that like to make you laugh and people that can show you life. And so both are important, I think.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And especially now with what we face in our country with this terrible administration, which is unbelievably horrible. Unbelievably horrible. And how the hell we got here, I don't know, but we're here. Now, I will do anything I can. Give money. I'll do anything I can to get rid of Trump and all his buddies, because they're all terrible people. Okay?
Well, do you know Mr. Daniels' favorite thing?
What about it?
What was Mr. Daniels' favorite thing that he's done? Do you know?
That he's going to do now?
No, his favorite thing.
Oh, theater? Probably, John Adams.
1776.
Probably the thing that he's the most proud of is John. And I will say John Quincy Adams. He did a wonderful John Quincy Adams. It was a PBS show. And he aged and the makeup was incredible. And he was incredible playing that part. It was so he was so old, it's like now he he couldn't play it now because he can't. But that to me that John Quincy thing, which was on PBS, they called the Adams Chronicles. And I think you can still get it. And he was marvelous in that. Extraordinary.
On for the title, so I was writing it down. Sorry. I took that up. Um, yeah, I love 1776. I obviously didn't see it live because I wasn't born yet, but I saw the
Yeah.
movie versions.
The live version was wonderful. And then the film of John Quincy was wonderful. Yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, he just got invited to do something, to go someplace. I don't think he can do it with Ken Burns in Gettysburg. I don't think he can do it, but Ken Burns is wonderful work. Oh, amazing work. I love everything he's done on PBS.
Yeah, he's good.
He's done wonderful stuff.
Yeah. And do either of you have any upcoming projects that you'd like to share?
I don't think there's anything that, as I say, we do these conventions, we're like fan buffs now. We try to seat all the fans and give them something that they want. And I was offered a job recently that I couldn't do. It's hard for me to travel. I mean, I don't like Bill to travel. I like to be with him. That's my job, is to be with Bill all the time now, for whatever time he has left or I have left. Because I think we comfort each other. And the world is so different. We've lived almost 100 years. And we've seen a lot. And the world is so different now. So we have to kind of try to keep up with all the changes as much as we can, because it is so different. but it is important to try to keep up with it. Try to keep up with the changes and try to work with them and do the best you can as you go along. You know, it's important. So that's what we do now.
And do you have any final thoughts that you would like to share?
I've shared a lot, haven't I?
You have, but I want to make sure you have everything out. I want to see if you had anything else to say.
No, just asking people to be good citizens. I think that's if you have a platform of any kind, that's the best you can do. Ask people to be aware of what's going on. I think they can't help but be aware of what's going on and try to be on the right side and try to help where you can to make enormous changes. I mean, because we have almost lost our country. We really have. We've almost lost our country. And we've got to fight back against that in any way that we can. Non-violent, of course. No, I get so mad when I sit here and I watch men out in my yard working so hard, up in the bush, taking it down, up in the trees, trimming them, working and working. And I watch them because I think they're wonderful and their work is wonderful. And I'm fascinated by the way they take down this stuff and everything. And I think, Mr. Trump, you don't know what it would be like without those people here in this country doing this work. You have no idea how we treasure them, how we love them, and how good they are to us, and how they work for so little money. And they're doing major work. I'd like to see him do that. I'd like to see him do a day's work. I so respect that. Hard work. I so respect that. And I've been so lucky to have amazing people work for me. I can't stand it when somebody, my lady who works for me, comes in and says, you know what happened yesterday in Little Tokyo? And I say, no, what happened? She says, well, they all came in. She said they only got one. They only got a guy who was selling strawberries. They only got one. She said, I was planning to go there. I didn't go. That's terrible. That's terrible. That's very sad. And so I guess I'm very sad, but I try not to be. I try to keep going.
On the Instagram page that your husband has, of course I follow that. I didn't see you on Instagram. Are you not on it? I thought of that.
It's mostly
I saw you before and then I haven't seen it in a while, so I didn't know if you still had it. Maybe it's just not coming up on my thing. But so he posted something about Kamala Harris during the elections, and
Yeah.
somebody wrote, "Well, I'm going to stop following you because you're a liberal." And I was like, I'm actually a conservative myself, but I wrote, okay, first of all, he has the right to vote for who he wants. Second of all, if you stop following somebody because of who they vote, you're a moron. Okay, we have this thing that says you can vote who you want to vote for. So if I'm sorry, if you don't like who they vote for, in 4 years you change it. You don't stop liking somebody suddenly because. And I was like, yeah. So I was like defending his choice. And I was like, and third of all, he doesn't even know you, so he probably doesn't care if you like. It bothers me when I see people do that with actors on either side, whether conservative or liberal, to say, well, I'm going to stop liking you because of who you vote for. I'm like, I'm sorry, that's messed up. We
Yeah,
have
I
rights in
know.
this country that say you can choose who you want to vote for. It does
Yeah.
not matter. So.
Okay.
So I get very defensive whenever I see somebody tell actors that they cannot or that they should be either liberal or they should be conservative. And I'm just like, no, they have rights too. So
Yes, of course they have rights.
so I actually post on his page, I was like, no, he has a right to like who he wants. And I'm sorry, that's just how it is. Or some people with religion, they're like, oh, because you're this religion. And I'm like, no, wrong.
No.
Not that the actors, you all need me to defend you, but I do get defensive because I don't like anybody treated wrong, even if I don't know them.
Right.
So I'm very big on how people are treated. And I
That-
want to thank you for this interview. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you, Carolyn. I'm
Thank you.
glad you're doing this.
It's a lot of fun.
Okay, that's good. You're enjoying it. That's
Yes.
good. Okay.
So thank you very much.
Thank
And I
you.
hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You
Thank
too.
you. All right. Bye.
Bye.